Hey, welcome back everybody to another episode of Rocking Midlife, the podcast. And I'm super excited today as I have a wonderful lady who's our wonderful guest today. And she's a good friend of mine who I've been getting to know a lot more the last few months. Absolutely adore her. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her. So we have Karen Tui Boyes. Putting on the old reading glasses here. It's an over 50s thing. Karen is an author and the creator of Teachers Matter magazine, Teachers Matter conference, Kids Matter conference, Study Smart workshops. I know this lady just keeps churning them out. And the Habits of Mind Bootcamp. She is the CEO of Spectrum Education, affiliate director of the Institute for Habits of Mind, New Zealand Educator of the Year in 2017 and 2014, New Zealand Speaker of the Year in 2019 and 2030. Oh my gosh, I just joke. New Zealand Businesswoman of the Year 2001 and wife of one and mother of two. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, it's great to be here, Kat.
Oh my gosh, it's been a saga being here too, hasn't it?
A little bit, but we'll hope we'll get through.
Oh, wow. So for those of you who are listening to this down the track, we are still in the middle of lockdown here in New Zealand. We're on level 3 at the moment. Karen and I both got stung in a way when we both returned from a conference in Australia in March where we both had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. I was in my bedroom. Karen was... Where were you, girl?
I was in beautiful Nelson. I had a whole house to myself. So while I spent 6 weeks by myself, at least I didn't have to spend, like Kat, just 2 weeks in one room.
Yeah. So Karen basically went to a beautiful honeymoon type location on her own, got super productive and did all these amazing things. And she's just relocated back home now to Wellington with the family. So she's discovering what life in a bubble with family is like, which is, what the rest of us have been experiencing. So Karen, you're an amazing, gifted lady. You've done a whole lot of stuff. You're so energetic. When did all this start? When did you start building this Spectrum education and all of that?
Oh, gosh, that's a long time ago. 26 years.
Wow.
I must have started when I was 3.
This is a midlife show. Come on.
I was a teacher. Oh, okay. All right. I was a teacher. Look, I'm proud to be fabulous at 50.
Absolutely.
So it's all good. I was a teacher, and I got to the point in my teaching where I knew that there was something bigger and better for me to make a difference to those children in my classroom. I watched children come into the school system at the age of 5, and by the age of 7, I saw that light in their eyes die. I saw them getting a little bit disillusioned, to stop loving learning. And I also, as a teacher, didn't understand how the brain learned. So I went on a quest to find that out, started my own business, and 26 years later, here I am. So traveling the world, being able to make a difference to thousands, millions of students by working with teachers, which I'm really proud of.
That's amazing. So you mentioned in your bio that you've kind of reinvented numerous times, especially through those midlife years with what you do. And you've traveled to so many countries. Tell me, how does a midlife mum do all this stuff and, while raising kids?
While raising children, yes. So I had my children. They are 18 and 20 now. So I've done all of this while raising children. But I have been blessed to have an incredible husband. Yeah. He was a full-time dad for about 12 years.
Wow.
And so he did all the parenting at home and allowed me just to travel, to live my dreams. And we traveled a lot together as and when we could. But he's been the stay-at-home rock, I guess. And now we're planning the next stage of what happens when they finally, if they're watching, listening, leave home.
It doesn't always work. Trust me.
I know. I was having a conversation with my 20-year-old yesterday about how much money he's got.
We're frozen, so I'm hoping that you're coming back, Karen.
Yep. Am I here?
Yep, you're back. Okay, so you were saying you're having a conversation with your 20-year-old?
Oh, and he said, I said to him, when was he going to leave home and how much money did he have to buy a house? And when we looked at it, it could be forever before he's able to buy a house. So I'm like, I hope he doesn't stay here that whole time.
We had the same conversation with my daughter a little while ago. She's 27 and she is still here because she was traveling so much working as a stunt woman. But of course, the film industry shut down, so she's always here. And same thing, like, Mum, I don't know how I can afford, because housing, particularly here in New Zealand, is just so through the roof, the pricing. So, yeah. Anyhow, so you've managed to reinvent. So that is so cool that you had that support from your husband. I mean, yeah, I think so many women would kill for something like that. You know?
Yeah, it has been amazing. He's just allowed me to do whatever I want when I want and be that rock behind me. So he's that silent partner who is part of the business as well. But I often joke that he's the best paid postman and banking agent in the country. So yes.
So that's so cool. So you created this business that's not only been, fulfilling for you, but you've been able to support your husband, bring him in to work alongside you and carry your family. Like, this is really empowering for women who feel like it always has to be the other way around. And I just love this, how you've taken ownership of that.
I actually understand the pressure that men maybe feel, or the breadwinner feels.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels very, very heavy on my shoulders, particularly when we've been through some pretty tough times. And I've had to say, we can't have any extras. There's no money for an ice cream. There's, no money for takeaways. And that falling on my shoulders has been sometimes pretty tough, but they've all rallied together. I think the key is everyone in my family know that my purpose, my passion, my goals, and they're all behind it. So that really helps.
That's fantastic. I love that. So you got everyone's bought into the vision as a family. That's brilliant. So let's go back to reinvention. What are some of the other things that you've done to reinvent yourself during these midlife years in particular? We've got a lengthy pause happening here. There, she's back.
Ask the question again. Sorry, Kat.
Okay. Well, what are some of the stages where you have reinvented during these midlife years, during the last, say, 15 years or so?
A lot of the business reinvention has been because my industry has changed, or because people have copied and tried to do exactly what I've done, and I've had to step it up another level, which I'm grateful for. It's not necessarily nice at the time, but it definitely happens. People see what you're doing and think, oh, that looks easy, so they copy it exactly. Right down to the page in the newspaper they were advertising, the size of the ad, the offer they were, it was blatant copying and plagiarism, but I'm just like, well, I'll just be better. So that's caused some of that. Some of my reinvention has also been around the need of my family. So while my children were young, my husband was the full-time carer, but as they got older, so 11 years ago, so when they got to those 10, 11 sort of age, I realised they actually needed me more. Yeah. So I downsized the business and I brought the business back home so that I could be home for them.
Yeah.
And then another reinvention, I guess, is instead of me travelling so much, I've been doing for the last 7 years a lot of work via webinars, via Zoom, and being able to present that way, so I don't have to travel. I can have people come to me, I guess, is the way for me to do that.
So you were already ahead of the what's happening now, weren't you?
I've always been a bit of a pioneer, and so while you struggle when you first start, eventually it becomes something that everybody is doing. So you're like, oh, I've already done that.
Yeah.
So
The problem we're having, if you're watching back the video or the audio, is because everybody is now online, we are having some internet issues happening here. So apologies for the lag now and then. But Yeah. How about emotionally? Like, have you found, you said it's weighed on you being the breadwinner with your family. How have you emotionally grown and developed, particularly through these midlife years?
I probably really got on top of that during my 40s. I spent a lot of time in my 40s doing a lot of professional and personal development for myself,
Right.
mainly the personal development, learning who I was, what my goals were, what drives me. And in the last 2 to 3 years, I've spent a lot of time, as I said, I wanted to be fabulous at 50. So
And you
51.
are. And you are.
Thank you. I'll be 51 and a half in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I celebrate half birthdays because I think it's so exciting.
Nice. I love it.
So I've, particularly in the last year, spent a lot of time making sure I have a morning routine, making sure I exercise every day, making sure I eat really well, making sure I learn something every day. So putting a morning routine in has been really amazing. It's completely transformed my life and allowed me to do more than I've ever done in my life before. So it's
wow.
been,
Sorry, with that internet, I'm cutting over the top of you. So again, for listeners and viewers, since I've known Karen over the last couple of years, she's lost a stack of weight, looks amazing, looks really radiant, and is incredibly productive with all the things that you're doing. So you attribute all of these changes down to your morning routine. Is that right?
Absolutely. The morning routine is, I use Robin Sharma's victory hour, so I do a 20-20-20. So the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is do 20 minutes of some sort of exercise where I get huffy puffy and sweat. The second 20 minutes is reflection, meditation, maybe prayer, maybe journaling, that sort of thing. And then the third 20 minutes is 20 minutes of learning. And because I love learning so much, sometimes that turns into a lot more. So I have to.
I'm like that.
I have to be careful with my time. And if that means I have to get up at 5 a.m. to do it, which is what Robin Sharma recommends, I do. Although not now that I've got into the habit of doing it, I don't always do it really, really early. So this morning was more about 8 o'clock because I knew that I didn't have to be rushing this morning and to balance my life. But it's become a habit and it's become automatic. Even little things like eating the same thing for breakfast every morning. It means that I don't have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And Kat, you and I have talked about this previously about decision fatigue.
Yep.
And, the more decisions you have to make first thing in the morning, the more that bandwidth that you have gets filled up.
Yeah,
having all the
tabs
open on your computer. And then you can't make those decisions. So I've sort of fortified my morning so that I don't have to make decisions. My exercise gear is on in the bathroom. So the first thing I do in the morning is I put that on, and then I automatically go and exercise. I eat the same thing for breakfast. I do not look at my social media until I finish that victory hour or even later.
Fantastic.
So lots of little things that have helped me to feel fabulous and then maybe even be fabulous.
That's wonderful. I love it. It's just, it's the type of thing I used to tell my gym clients, have your gear out the night before, have your bag packed so you don't have to think. You literally just roll out of bed, throw it on and go automatically. And so you made it wasn't like you were always this type of person, was it? You actually made a decision at some point that I'm going to implement this into my life. Is that right? I love the pauses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was a clear decision of this is who I want to be. What do I need to do to be that person? Right down to just getting really clear on my big five. When you go to Africa and you do a safari, you go and see the big five. And so I was thinking about what are my big five? And I've been clear for a long time that my five me. I'm number one. If I don't fill my cup, if I don't look after myself, I can't look after others.
Yeah.
So, and that's hard for a woman. That's hard for a
it is.
So that's my number one priority. Number two is my husband and my relationship with him. So I spend a lot of time and a lot of energy making sure that we are okay. I'm telling him I love him every day. Lisa McGuinness Smith, about maybe 10 years ago, talked about passionately kissing your partner every single day.
Wow.
And for several years, my husband asked me every single day, this might be an overshare.
Not at all, not at all.
Every single day, your husband today, he'd ask me. So every single day we passionately kiss.
Oh,
and
that's so lovely.
It's that time of connection. And what I learned was that you cannot passionately kiss while you're thinking about the GST. You cannot passionately kiss when you're worried about something. You cannot passionately kiss when you are cross with your partner. So I had to learn how to let go of those things quickly or deal with them quickly to be able to explain that when you said that hurt my feelings, and get it out in the open, because otherwise I'd hold on to it. So number two was him, my relationship. Number three is our children. So they take a little bit of a back seat to myself and my husband, and I'm really clear on that because look, they're really important. But unless my relationship is strong and I'm strong, it's really hard to parent. So they come number three. My business is number four, and everything else around is maybe number five. So my goals and my dreams. And so having those clear 5 ideas or 5 things, I think about those every morning I wake up. What are my 5 things today?
I love that. That's wonderful. And then you just build everything around that. So you're aligning everything to your core values. They're your core values. And that's what I often say in my workshops to people. They're the filter that you run all your decisions, everything through, aren't they? So that you're congruent in every area of your life. And I love the fact that this isn't something that you were just like this. You were just one of these super organized with it people. I love it that you've actually decided, I want to be this, and therefore I'll start making that happen. And that's so reassuring for other women out there who think, look, she's got it all together. I can't do anything. But yet they can take courage from that, can't they? That it's a learned behaviour.
Absolutely. There was a time that, and this will show my age really badly, but there was a time that I was highly addicted is probably a good best word, had an intimate relationship with Sonic the Hedgehog. And so Sonic the Hedgehog and I spent all day, I had to get to those next levels. And
was that Atari? Was that Atari? The game?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones before Nintendo and all of those, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think so. I don't know. But, I've had to really work on that. And I do vision boarding every year. I make a vision board of what I want my life to be like. So it's all a work in progress. And there's still heaps more to do.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We're always evolving, always transitioning, and we can either fight that or we can really embrace it and really, create things. Actually, that's one of the things when you were telling me about, the 3 things that you are really on your mind to share with other women. So one of them was about that morning routine, but the other one was knowing how to learn. You're very strong on learning. Obviously, that's the basis of your whole business. What are your thoughts about that?
If I said to you, I gave you a genie in a bottle, and I told you that genie could give you one wish, any wish you wanted, and there's no limit to what you can wish for in that one wish. Many people say, they'd wish for world peace, or they'd wish for a lot of money, or they'd wish for health and happiness. What I personally would wish for is 1 million wishes. No limit on what you could wish for. Yeah. But what if you could learn something that was going to be a superpower? And for me, if I could just learn one thing that was going to create a superpower for me and for everybody else, that's your ability to learn. So learning to learn and understanding how you take in information, how you retain information, how the brain works. Yeah. For me, if we had to learn, the whole world is open to us. So I'm extremely passionate about how do we learn how to learn. What is that learning cycle, and what is the difference between taking responsibility and being that victim? Because you can't learning and be at the same time. So I love what I can't think of his name. He says you can't be going uphill and downhill at the same time.
Yeah.
And I love that idea. So it's the same. You can't be the victim. You can't be responsible at the same time. So I want people to be able to understand how they learn and take responsibility for their lives by being able to keep learning and keep getting better at who we are and what we do.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. I'm 100% there. I'm someone who's always learning new things. You know, one of my nicknames with the family is Research Queen, because I just love learning and mastering something and then learning about something new and all of that, which drives some people mad. But that is the way, particularly for us at midlife, that is the way then that we can reinvent and keep growing, isn't it? It's not something that finishes the minute you finish your degree or finish your high school diploma. Learning is a lifelong thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the difference is the victim loves entertainment, where they're watching the television shows and there's nothing wrong with television shows, but they get absorbed by them. Yeah. Whereas the learner or the genius is into education. Yeah. And so genius isn't about being able to just know everything. Genius is learned. You're not born a genius. And it's also the difference between what I call confidence and brilliance. Brilliance is what we see and often think, oh, that person's just brilliant, that it's just easy for them. But what you don't see, that the confidence comes from the relentless learning, the relentless improving, the bravery of being able to try things you've never tried before, and then that positive mindset. So they're all really key.
I love it. It's when I wrote about it a little bit in my books, 221 Hacks, it's part of that self-efficacy thing too, isn't it? And because you have that belief that even if you don't know the answers, you have the ability to go find the answers because you're open to learning, and that builds that confidence and resourcefulness in you, which as women we need. Our world is changing so quickly. Like, look at the situation we're in now. Technology, how we do things, how we communicate, all of that. If we have the confidence in that we have the ability to go learn, we're going to be much more positive and able to cope, aren't we, than the person who's totally overwhelmed because they don't even know how to learn. They don't even know how to go find those answers. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, really critical. All right, let's have a look. The third point you gave me, attitude of gratitude. Now, we hear about this one a lot, but tell us your spin on this one.
I've been for a very long time, and I had a friend come to visit me. She's an elderly friend. She's not well. She's never going to get better, and she was just so negative. So over 2 years ago, I started a gratitude page on Facebook, and I invited her just to find 3 things a day and post them on there. I invited a few friends. Now, unfortunately, my friend didn't partake in the page, but by the end of the month, I had 40 friends who were posting their gratitude every day. Oh. And I was just going to close the page. Yeah. And then my friends are like, no, we want to keep continuing. So I said, well, I haven't got the time and energy to keep the page going, but if you want to be the admin for a month and take turns, which they have for over 2 years. Wow. And it's been wonderful. But a couple of the things that we've really grown to learn about gratitude is that if you're not grateful for what you have, what makes you think you're going to be grateful for having something new? Yeah. Because we always say, oh, I want those new pair of shoes, or I want a new car, and it's like, well, we're not grateful for what we have. Are we actually going to be grateful when we get new things? Yeah. The second thing is we've discovered that when you share your gratitude, then it's like having a present. If you have a present and you don't open it, what's the point? And so being able to share the gratitude has been incredible. And here's what the people on the page. There's nearly 700 people on it now.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So what they tell us is we suggest you do it for a month. So for 1 month, 3 things a day, and you publicly post them. And so here's what happens. For the first few weeks or few days, depending on, people's journey, but the first stage or first phase is that you get to the end of the day and go, oh, what am I grateful for today?
Yeah.
And you got to find it. You got to look back through your day. And the research actually shows, even if you can't find something, if you looked, it positively affects the chemicals and the good stuff in your body and your brain.
Yep.
Second stage is when something happens throughout the day and you go, oh, I'm going to write that on my gratitude page. And so you write that and you think, oh, you start noticing gratitude as it happens throughout the day. The third phase is when you wake up in the morning and the first thought is, what am I going to be grateful for? And you can see that completely changes, because now what we do is we focus on what we want. We're focusing on the gratitude.
Yeah.
I know this is a podcast, and maybe if you're watching the video, I don't know, but I wonder if I can just take 20 seconds to ask the people listening to have a look around your room for a moment and notice at least 10 things that are the colour red. 10 things that are red. Go.
Ooh.
10 things that are red. Have a look around your room. All right, close your eyes for a minute. And please recall everything you saw that was green. And open your eyes. It's a little bit hard, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that's scary. Wow. Yeah.
Because you were focusing on the red. And what if the red was the negative of life? What was the yucky stuff? And if that's what we're focusing on, we actually can't see the green.
Oh, so I'm going to use that exercise. That's brilliant. Sorry, I'm going to plagiarize that one, but I'll give you credit.
I will gift it to you. So gratitude allows you to focus on the things that you want to focus on rather than the things that sometimes, and we've all got negative stuff in our life. So even though I've been posting my gratitude every day for publicly for at least 2 years, a few days ago I wrote, look, I'm really struggling today. I've had a hard day. I've actually had challenges reintegrating back into my family, having 6 weeks all by myself, which is understandable. And so, yes, I'm struggling today, and here's my gratitude. Yeah. So even though I'm having a bad day, there's still things I can find gratitude for. Yeah. So creating that attitude of gratitude in yourself is, and your family. We're doing a gratitude challenge in the family right now. Every day, people have to write up their gratitude. So we have a public chart in our house.
How wonderful.
After dinner every night, we're all writing their gratitudes. So, yeah, lots of different ways you can do this.
Love it. Absolutely love it. That exercise is so simple but so powerful. It's brilliant because you don't have to be a positive person yet again, but it is something you can learn just by determining to set that habit in place. So, yeah, absolutely wonderful.
We know about the brain is that it can learn for the rest of your life. That what's in there right now is not fixed. Your intelligence is not fixed. Your abilities are not fixed. There is the whole potential for the brain to continue learning and rewiring as we get older. So that's the exciting part.
That is, isn't it? So that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, is not true, is it?
Not true at all.
Yeah. So I think if nothing else, if people can take that away from today, gratitude and learning, keep reading, keep being curious about what's happening in life, be flexible, and what was the other one? And have that power hour too, that morning routine, and set yourself up for success. Fabulous, fabulous tips. I mean, gosh, there's so much in all of these. Now, you've written a number of books too, haven't you, Karen?
I have, and the one that probably is the most important around this is my latest book called Creating the Life of Dreams.
Oh, I love it.
This book is a step-by-step guide into being able to unpack your life. It's got all the strategies we've talked about today, and it helps you get clear on your goals, on who you want to be, just choosing your top 5 words that you want to people to describe you by. And they might not be true right now, but if they're the words you focus on, they will become the words that people use for you. So so I can give you
send me the links
for that, but it's on our website, spectrumeducation.com.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's just been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate having you on today, and I will add all those links to the show notes for on YouTube and all the podcast locations. And we'll definitely be having you back, Karen. Just such fabulous practical tips. Thank you so much.